Hey, it's Andre, and it's time for another Friday flying update. I guess Horizon's taking over the bench this week. Yeah, the fact that I'm actually doing an update is impressive. It turned into a very busy week, and there's a lot going on. And, you know, I haven't flown. Maybe this weekend. Last weekend we did the podcast on Sunday, and the weather now is just snow, freezing conditions. It's just been winter is too soon. I lost the bet with my son. It's obviously a white Christmas versus a green Christmas. And on that note, next weekend will be the 22nd. I might be doing a Friday flying update, but it all depends on family affairs and so on. If not, you'll get an update middle of the week after Christmas, obviously, just for family time and so on. On to the bench. If you listen to the RC After Hours podcast, Coordinated Turns, the UMX version, was voted our top plane for 2017. And I have to say, yeah, this is a good little airplane. If you can get your hands on it, Horizon's a minute. They have a supply and demand problem with this bad boy. But the UMX Timber is a fun little airplane. I'm hoping this weekend the weather gives me just a little bit of a window on Saturday and I can get out and try this. I've installed the slats and I am running the skis that were given to me as a gift, and I can't wait. Sorry, not the skis, the floats. There are skis that you can get for them, but the floats just look so cool, and it's a fun little airplane. So I'm looking forward to getting it out and flying it. So that's the little UMX Timber. As well, the big airplanes will start going under skis. Obviously the Tundra and the Pawnee, and we'll see about a couple other ones. I do have the flight test planes to build up. But back to the Horizon stuff. I couldn't help it. I did it. I bought the little Vapor, and I got this picked up from Great Hobbies. So thanks guys for setting me up with that guy and holding it, because they were selling out pretty fast. And you say, oh, the little Vapor versus the big Vapor. And I never considered the FPV Vapor, you know, huge, but there is a substantial size difference between the two. You can fly it in the house. I'm getting used to flying it slow, and I think that's ultimately my challenge, just to control it and everything. But I could see this on a really calm night in the backyard being almost more enjoyable than the FPV one. The FPV one, you fly so fast, but look at the size of the camera. Check this out. And this one just came in. I picked this up from GearBest, and it took like 2 months to show up. But, you know, for 10 bucks, look at the size difference in the two. I don't know if this will show up, but, you know, so you could do the exact same thing in FPV, the little guy. But for now, I'm going to be quite content in flying this around and learning to get really slow. Everything I've said so far is I had my CG, everything I've learned so far, sorry, is that my CG was set wrong, and I got to get it back. You kind of want this nose up attitude, so you can crab it along or crawl it along and use your elevator and everything. It will fly in the house and quite well, but boy, I felt like I was racing along. So I am going to try it, slow it down, and just see how well I can control it and everything. And from one of our podcast friends and everything online is this little bad boy, the Blade MSRS. So this is a little collective pitch, but it does have safe on board and everything. So Chris Goodin, thank you, sir. You are a saint. He teased me earlier on, said, hey, I got something I want to send you. Give me your address. I'm not telling you what it is. And I'm all thinking, it's got to be a fixed wing. Chris is a fixed wing guy. And then he very observantly remembered that me saying on the podcast, I've never flown a helicopter. And this thing lit up and flew like a charm. So I'm I'm quite impressed with it. I put it into safe mode and everything, and the next thing I got to do is my buddy Mike's passed me his DX6 Generation 2 to try it out and just get used to flying with a Spectrum radio, because there are some subtle differences in the controls and the size, form factor, and everything. So it's I'm going to try it and play around with it before I decide ultimately if I want to pick up a Spectrum radio. We are still working on finding a full proper module. I do fly in the Orange RX module, which is perfectly acceptable to do, but as I've reported before, there are issues when you're flying, when I'm flying FPV. I don't find I've got the range or the reliability. So most of my aircraft do fly off the normal standard FrSky protocol, but for all those bind and fly planes, I'm almost, if I can pick up a used transmitter for a good deal, or do that proper mod where you actually, you know, gut a radio and put it in, that is the intention. That said, this thing is a riot. Flies really well, and I've put in some of the bigger tattoo batteries, and it flew just gorgeous. So it's one of those things where I have to get used to flying the orientation with this. It's one thing to fly a quad. It's another thing when you've got, you know, little props and everything, and who knows how long it's going to last. They are actually on sale this week from a Horizon. You know, it is a perfect little stocking stuffer. Comes with a battery and a charger, a little USB charger, and a couple spare pieces. So I've had fun. I honestly, I made a model in my radio, set the throws up to 100%. I haven't switched any of the modes because it does have a couple different modes in it. And I think I'm just locked into safe mode and everything because it doesn't have a whole lot of banking on it. But, you know, it was just fun to hover and everything. And yeah, and then of course, like I said, a little FPV transmitter. That's kind of cute and small and tiny. Like I said, 13 bucks. So it is, it's set up and received. And for those wondering, yes, the module does work really well in my FrSky, my Fat Shark radio. I'm really impressed with that auto scan. I haven't even done the firmware yet, but it just works. You know, it auto scans, and that's a really good treat flipping through the channel. So I still have a ton of review products to do. The 2 planes from our Motion RC and also RC Moment, the Talon, the mini Talon or Nano Talon. So I've really got to get out and get flying. I'm hoping the weather cooperates and just gives me a break to let me go flying. So fingers crossed. And the rest of it is all family-oriented stuff this weekend because it is we're racing towards Christmas, so another week of work and then a few days off to enjoy the holidays. So I'm Andre. Thanks for watching. It's been a Friday flying update. Talk to you later. Whoops. I already took a chunk out of the blade, didn't I? Yeah. That didn't take long. There we go. Good enough.